Well, I would normally say good morning, but I don't know what time it is because time is irrelevant when you change time zones to the extent that I have over the past days. In fact, I totally missed the second. I left on the first and arrived on the third in Australia. So you can see Eilish with me here, and
Hi.
the title of the video today is I Made It to Oz. What a trip. Long. Let me repeat that. Long. And I was virtually unable to sleep on the planes, four of them altogether. I met some amazing people during the flight, and here I am, finally in Eilish's home. Eilish's home. I've always been pronouncing that Eilish, so forgive me if I get it wrong.
That's okay.
We got my computer hooked up. This will obviously be my first video ever recorded outside the U.S. in Oz's original Melbourne, though we are actually in a suburb. Uh, Indeed, it was quite a trip. It went virtually without a hitch, although customs was a little bit problematic in Australia because I had to, first of all, I flew in on an international flight and I had to go through customs, and then I had to go to a local flight in the same airport, but it's like 3 or 4 miles away. I mean, I had to take a bus to get there. I don't know how long it was, but it seemed like a long ride just to go to another part of the same airport. But in any case, I met some very fascinating people there. And we're going to be, Eilish and I will be doing some videos together.
hmm
Uh, and we will also, I think, be on, what's the name of your
CCN on We Are the Ones We've Been
we
Waiting
are the
For.
ones we've been waiting for. We will actually do a longer, probably, conversation on that. I don't know what all's lined up. I have a lot of things, but the interesting people. The first plane I get to sit next to an 18-year-old Israeli college student
Mhm.
who, or she's actually not in college yet. She just graduated high school, and she took like a little vacation trip to the U.S. Before she goes back and starts school, which is mandatory, by the way. It's a military thing. She has to do 2 years of military. Everybody in Israel has to do that. But I had just, of course, gone to my first ever, um, what do they call it? The completed Jewish thing. What's the
Messianic.
Messianic? My first ever. Thank you. My first ever Messianic thing. Just 8 days before I left on this, I had gone to that and was pleasantly surprised at the music. So I
Synagogue.
started telling her about that experience. And I had this guy that was sitting across the aisle get up and basically yell at her. I mean, he was the center of attention. Don't pay attention to this guy. He's insane. He's an anti-Semite. And where he got that from, I mean, he didn't give me any chance to defend myself. But it scared the crap out of her. And after he went and sat down, she looked at me and I said, I can't believe that guy. And she didn't even answer me. She got up and ran and never came back to that seat. They ended up putting somebody else in that seat. But that's starting off. That's still in Melbourne, Florida. Uh, when that happened. I mean, I don't think the plane had even taken off, and it was 2 hours late taking off, and I missed my next flight, had to go to a different connection. The connection that I missed was on time, wouldn't you know it? But the substitute was also an hour late from what it was scheduled to take off at. So the beginning was just hurry up and wait. But fortunately, in LA, they had given me a big enough window that I still made my connection to the trip to Oz, to Aussie. So it was quite interesting, and the people after that first incident were just. I met some fantastic people, had some great conversations. One man named Bob who lives up in the place where I went before I came to Melbourne.
Brisbane.
Brisbane. I sorry about my memory. When I went up to Brisbane, I mean, he actually lives in Brisbane, but he was flying. he was actually on the thing from North Carolina to LA, but we didn't meet each other till the break in between. And he took me out. He offered to buy me a drink, and I let him buy me a lemonade. And we chatted, and then of course more a little bit more on the plane. Although our seats were, he was on the window side. All the way across, and this is the big plane. 10 seats across. Three, 4, and 3 is 10. Yes. So there were, and he was already in the row ahead of me, all the way over to the right, and I'm on the first seat in the middle section where there are 4 seats. But we did make some communication. He's a wonderful man. I will be contacting him if I get up there again during this trip. I might connect with him, but I definitely have his email and his contact information to be able to connect with him even after the trip. But he was so polite and gave me so much information. Uh, I was just so glad that I was provided that opportunity to learn a little bit of things that I didn't know, and there's still a lot that I need to learn. Uh,
Driving.
I haven't gotten a car yet, and of course I didn't bring my car. They didn't allow that in my luggage. But I have to learn how to drive on the wrong side of the road, and that the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car, and and I say wrong. It's I'm using that facetiously. I'm not. I don't mean that literally. Like there's anything wrong with doing it differently, but it's different for me, and it seems backwards to me from what I'm used to, from the norm. As I said, Eilish and I will be doing some videos together. Do you want to just say hi to everybody?
Yeah, hi. And in regards to driving, I just give Ron some advice that I had when I drove in America, and that was basically just follow everyone else.
Well,
Yeah.
normally I'm not much of a follower. I try not to be anyway. I've tried to be sort of a free thinker and allow myself to explore things that maybe other people might not be willing to explore, and to challenge people to get out of the boxes. I mean, we as humans tend to live in boxes our whole entire lives and never explore what might be outside that box in another box that we might really like and really have some good information that will help us on our journey as human beings of remembering who we are, that we are all divine children of one creator ultimately. And all of the other things that have divided us are going to ultimately have to become meaningless to us, because they've been used to divide us and to split us up, and instead of just simply to love one another. And when we get to that place, we haven't gotten there yet, neither have I. But when we get there, it's going to be a very different world and a very different experience for all of us. But I thank those of you that have prayed for me on this trip. I obviously made it, and made it alive,
Mhm.
and without any interference, like some people had threatened they were going to have me arrested when I came to Oz. There was,
Really?
oh yeah, I had that guy from Hong Kong that lives in Hong Kong that's been threatening me and doing things. I mean, I was getting warnings. Don't go, because you're going to get arrested when you go there. I didn't have any problems at all coming into Oz. I mean, except that going through customs took a little bit longer, and I was afraid I was going to miss the connecting flight. And they did change I guess there were 2 flights going from Brisbane to Melbourne. And I ended up, instead of being on flight 21, it was flight 22. But they still got my luggage. Yes, it's right here.
Mhm.
So everything came through, and I haven't unpacked or even unwrapped my luggage yet that says Melbourne to Melbourne on the things. But anyway, I wanted to give this introductory video with Eilish, and as I said, we will be doing other videos together.
Mm.
And I made it, folks, and it's the beginning of a month of who knows what I'm going to be going through. But again, thank you for your prayers, and keep posted, because I'll be doing videos from more than one place while I'm here, and meeting with a lot of very wonderful and fascinating people.
Yeah.
So God bless you all, and until the next video, namaste.